Hey teachers! Since I have started this YouTube channel, some of my most popular videos have been my videos all about how to use Flipgrid. Well, recently, Flipgrid just released some really big updates. So the dashboard has changed and there's lots of new features that you can access that will help you, especially when teaching remotely. So today we're going to dive into those changes. I have crawled through all of the Flipgrid videos and information that's been released about the updates so that you don't have to, and I'm going to tell you the things that you need to know today. Now we're going to jump on my computer in just a second so that I can show you some of these changes. But before we do that, I want to address one of the biggest changes that has taken place on Flipgrid. And the reason I am addressing this change first is because I've received a lot of questions about it the past couple of days since these changes were implemented. Now, we have a whole video series all about Flipgrid, and I've linked all of those videos in the description. But in one of those videos, I taught you how to create a grid, which was essentially like how to create your class account on Flipgrid. Well, Flipgrid has now changed some of the terminology on the site, and grids are no longer called grids. Instead, you'll see group used. So if you go back and watch that video about creating a grid, you're still going to create one the same way, but just know that anytime you see or hear the word grid used, that's now being replaced with the term group. So I just wanted to make you aware of that since I've been getting so many questions the past couple of days. But now let's get to the exciting stuff. Let's jump on my computer. I'm going to show you what the updated dashboard looks like, and then I'm going to show you what some of the new features inside of Flipgrid look like. I'm so excited. Let's get started. So I have just logged into my Flipgrid account, and anytime you log into your Flipgrid account, it's going to take you to the discussion section of your dashboard. And the discussion section is where you're going to see all of your groups listed and all of your topics listed. Now, like I told you a few minutes ago, this used to say grids. So if you've watched any of my old videos and you're looking where to go to access your grids or to create a grid, this is it. Anytime it formerly said grid, it now says groups. And I'm not really going to walk you through how to create a group because it's literally exactly the same as how you created a grid. So if you want to know how to create a group, just go back to the former video in my series about creating a grid, and it will show you exactly how to do that. Now, what I do want to do today is I want to go through all of the tabs on your dashboard because a lot of these are new. And then I will go through how to set up a topic. Most of it is going to be the same as what I showed you before, but I will show you the small differences that are there. And then last, we'll jump onto a student dashboard because there's a few small differences there that I want you to see. But let's start by reviewing each of these tabs at the top. As I said, you'll always start on your discussion tab, and this is probably the tab that you're going to use the most because this is where you're going to be creating your groups, it's where you're going to be creating your topics, it's where you're going to be moderating your topics. This is where you will be the most. The next is the Discovery tab, and this tab I'm really loving. This is something new that Flipgrid has recently added, and basically what you can do is you can go in here and you can find topics that have already been created, and then you can share those topics with your students so that way you don't have to start from scratch. So let's say you can also search topics. So let's say you want to create an assignment with reading fluency. So let's see if there's already some things that exist. Okay, so somebody's made a topic called fluency readings. Please choose a book that you are currently reading. Read aloud for 1 minute. Okay, so basically students are going to record themselves reading this book, and I say, okay, I like this. This really aligns to my students and what I want them to do. So I can actually share this topic with my students and then allow them to respond. And if I do that, you don't have to worry about Jenny, who created this, seeing it. Only your students will, and then you'll be able to see their responses. So I can click add topic, and then I can decide which group I want it to go to. This is an ELA skill, so I'm going to assign it to my ELA class and click next. And then what's really great as well is you will see all the topic settings here, which, like I said a second ago, we'll go through these. So you can take what Jenny created and then basically modify the settings for your class. And then when you're done, just hit update topic. Now, if I go back to discussion, remember this is where all my groups are listed, I can click on my ELA class. And look, that topic is now there. So it actually just saved me a whole lot of time. Now I'm going to go back to the Discovery tab. And one thing that's also really cool is a lot of big companies have created their own accounts in Flipgrid. So let's say you're a history teacher. You could click on the National World War II Museum's account, and they have a bunch of pre-created topics for you. And I've looked at a lot of these history ones. They're really cool. Like this one actually has embedded a testimonial from a Holocaust survivor. So students would watch the video and then respond to it. Sometimes these will link to articles on the sites. But taking the time to look at some of these that are created by museums and organizations, there's some really, really cool things here. And I definitely encourage you to go through those. All right, let's move on to the next tab, which is the activity tab. If you're using an LMS system right now with your students, you've probably noticed that the system assigns badges or rewards to students or stickers when they've completed different things. And this is basically Flipgrid's version of this. It wants to encourage you to be using Flipgrid as much as possible. So it's going to give you badges and rewards and stickers for working in the system. Personally, I don't think it's that exciting, but hey, if you like getting these little digital badges, this is a lot of fun. Now the next section, this is also a new thing. This is called the mixtapes, and I've kind of been experimenting with this over the past couple of days. And basically what the mixtapes are, we're not going to go too into detail with it right now, but basically what you can do is you can create a playlist of student responses. So let's say you created a topic and all the students post their video responses to it. You could go through and select all of the responses, or you could select just a couple of the responses that you think really exemplified what the students were supposed to do. And you can essentially create a playlist, or as they call it, a mixtape, so that students can watch all of those responses at one time together. Now, when I first started looking at this mixtape, I kind of didn't really understand the point of it, because I thought, well, students can just go into the grid or the group and watch the responses. Why do I need to put them in a playlist? And am I excluding students if I don't include their responses in a mixtape or playlist? But then I started looking at some of the suggestions that Flipgrid has created, and there's some really cool ideas here. You'll see that I've started to create one called Talent Show, and basically what I plan to do is create a topic that's a talent show. So students record a video of them performing a talent that they have and upload it, and then I'm going to put all of those videos into a playlist or a mixtape that the students can sit and watch all of them. Flipgrid also had some suggestions for doing things like poetry readings, like having your students write a poem and record themselves reading the poem and then creating a playlist of those. But a lot of the suggestions that Flipgrid had to do with more so with community building and getting students to really interact with each other and see what their classmates are doing. Now, the next tab is something that I am very, very, very excited for, and we actually have a video that's coming out in a couple of days where I am going to explain exactly how to use this tool because it's so cool. I think if you're teaching remotely, you're definitely going to want to use this tool. And this is the Shorts tool. So let's say you want to create a video and edit a video where you teach a specific standard or content to your students. You don't necessarily want to assign it to them as an assignment or topic in Flipgrid. You just want to create a video where you teach content. You can now do that within Flipgrid using their camera features and all of their special effects. You can record videos up to 10 minutes, and then you can take these videos and you can embed them in Google Classroom. You can embed them on a website. You can embed them in an LMS. You can share a link that you email to your students, and this is a great way for you to teach them content in a very meaningful, engaging way. So watch out for that video that's going to be coming in a couple days, and I will break down the Shorts feature because, like I said, you are going to want to know how to use this. It's super cool. Now, the last tab we have is Grid Pals, and to be honest, I don't love this feature just because I take privacy, especially the privacy of students, really seriously, and you can see I have my account hidden. But if I were to make this active, my account could be viewed by other Flipgrid users and they could search for me and find me, and then you can use these tools here to search for other Flipgrid users as well and connect with them here on Flipgrid. Like I said, I don't do this just because I take privacy and security so seriously. But if you have teachers in your district that you're working with, this could be helpful for you. Let's go on back to the discussion tab. And I want to show you the topics a little bit more because Flipgrid has added some new things new features to the topic section that I think you're really going to like. I've received questions from people about when I create a topic, can I share it with multiple classes or multiple groups? And previously you could not, but now they have added new features when you click on actions that once you create a topic, you can very easily share it across multiple grids, groups, classes, whatever you want to call them. So if I click on action and click on add to group, I can select the group that I want to add this to. So I've added it to a group. Let's say I want to add it to more than one group. I can duplicate the topic and then I can add it to another group. And basically it's going to take the exact topic and it is going to put it in that group as well. So now this fluency practice is assigned to both my ELA class and my history class. So click on actions here and you'll see there are a lot of ways that you can now share and move topics around that you were not able to do before. Now I also want to walk you through just very quickly the settings for how to create a topic. We have another video in our Flipgrid series that's all about how to create a topic, and I do recommend that you go back and watch that video because I'm going to go very into detail in that video with how to create a topic. Now I just want to walk through when you set up a topic some of the biggest changes that you may notice with the update. There's nothing too significant, but I just want to point out a few things. So I'm going to click on add a topic. Everything here in your topic essentials are still going to be the same in terms of just creating your title, your prompt, how long your video is going to be. One thing I did want to point out, when you are adding media to the prompt, there's a lot more options now. For example, you can now add GIFs. So you can search for a GIF. If I want to put a dog GIF, I can search for dogs and it will give me dog GIFs that I can add. But there's all kinds of GIFs that you can add, and I find that students really like those. Flipgrid has also partnered with more programs now. There's a lot more options here for things that you can embed. So let's say there's a News ELA article that you want to add. You can now click here and find the link and embed that. I love Wonderopolis. You just add the links from these websites and it will embed that content into your prompt for students to view. Access control, this has had a few minor changes to it, and I'll just show you those real quick. This is an area that I get questions about a lot. You can choose to make it your topic public, or you can choose to make it private. There's two ways to share this with your students. If you make it private, you can add the email addresses of people that can view it. So if your students have email addresses, you can add those. You can also create a username for each of your students and add those here. These are pretty much the same as they were before, but one difference that is here is the guest password, because so many students are working at home now and sometimes their families want to view it too. So you can create a guest password, and this will allow families or people that aren't students to join the topic as well. Now, like before, you can just click on more options, and most of this stuff down here you're going to see is going to be the same. But I strongly recommend, especially when you are first setting this up, that you read through this very carefully and you make sure that you get the settings exactly the way that you want them to be. I want to show you on the topic page is the feedback section. We are also creating another video all about leaving feedback for students, but down here you have some options for how you can leave feedback, and that is basic feedback, where you're just going to comment on their ideas and performance. And then you can also leave custom feedback, and if you click here, you can actually create a rubric for students. So you can outline the criteria for the assignment, the minimum score, and the maximum score. But those are the biggest changes to the topic area. And like I said, go back to that video where I show you how to create a topic, because that's going to go really into detail with each section of this. The thing I want to show you is the student dashboard, because that also looks just a little bit different. And anytime you want to see what the student dashboard looks like, if you click on a specific group and then click on the join code, it will show you what that group looks like from the student's point of view. So this is what the student would see. And it's always just going to show one topic, the most recent one, but students can navigate between topics here. So a drop-down menu will come up that has the different topics assigned to this group. So I can switch it to this topic by just clicking on it. I can go back to the previous one by just clicking on it. But that's all they have to do is click that drop-down menu and then select the topic. And then when they are ready, they can record their response to that topic by clicking the record a response button, or this big round camera button. Either one of those will allow them to record. They also can record a response using the record response in the toolbar at the top of the page. So it tries to make it really, really easy for the student. I was watching a video and they said they added all these places where students could click to record just to make it as easy for the student as possible. Now, the last thing that I want to show you with the student view is there are some updates here that are going to help with this accessibility. If students need help reading the instructions or the prompt, if they click on this immersive reader icon, this is so cool, I love this. They have all these options to help them read or to make it bigger. They can click on text preferences. They can increase the size, decrease the size. They can increase and decrease the spacing between words. They can change the fonts. This is to make it as easy to read for your students as possible. You can also, if you're trying to work with your students on grammar conventions, you can highlight nouns or verbs or adjectives by having students turn these on. We can also set up reading preferences where students may only see a certain number of lines at a time, so it's not so overwhelming for them. There is also a translation feature here so that you can help your ESL students. Now, the last thing with this is you can click play.
Please choose the book you are currently reading to read out loud for 1 minute.
And it will read to the students. If students click on any of the words, it will read individually. I have the translator turned on for Bulgarian. So it will read the word in Bulgarian. And then right now I have a picture dictionary turned on, so it's going to give me a picture to illustrate the word. Now let's say I only want it to read the last sentence. I can click on the first word of the last sentence.
After you are done reading, you can tell me anything you would like to about how you...
And it will start reading from the word that I clicked on. So this is absolutely amazing for accessibility and for helping ESL students. I absolutely love this feature. But there you have it. That is kind of the biggest changes that I wanted you guys to see. Hopefully you see that a lot of the changes that are implemented are going to be incredibly helpful. I see a lot of benefit to what they've done with some of these things. All right, so there you have it. Those are the biggest changes made to Flipgrid, and according to the emails that I've been receiving from them, it sounds like we still have a few more exciting changes to come. So make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. We upload 2 new videos every week, and as these changes and additions to Flipgrid are rolled out, we'll definitely be covering those on this channel, and I don't want you to miss any of those. So until next time, happy teaching!